Good afternoon, welcome to today's press conference to preview our Premier League game against Watford. We're going to begin today's press conference with the usual broadcast section. If you'd like a question today, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and we'll get round to as many of you as we can. We're going to begin today's press conference with Geraint Hughes from Sky Sports News. Over to you.
Thanks, Adi. Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Thomas, can I first of all start off with, I suppose, an all-encompassing question sort of about injury news and also an update on Romelu Lukaku. It was very good for many people to see him coming on the other day. Just an update on where he is and how you can possibly use him going forward. Also with team news ahead of the game.
Well, with Romelu it's pretty easy. He came on and he continued to train. There's no reaction from his injured ankle. So he stayed in training and he's ready to progress in minutes, and this is where he is. For the game, so for sure out is Chile, Stilkova and N'Golo for tomorrow, and we have some players in doubt. We need bit more time, bit more examinations, a bit more time to re-evaluate the status. It's Reece James, Shorshi and Timo Werner. They all finished training, or they all trained today with us. And there will be some last minute decisions about the three.
Thomas, can I take you back to last night? Obviously, you had a hopefully a very nice evening at Stamford Bridge, looking at the Ballon d'Or. Just your reflections on everything that the club just achieved last night. Club of the Year, the men's and the women's side, but also as well individual honours there for Jorginho, where you've had a number of players in the top 30. I could go on and on and on, but just your reflections on Chelsea's contribution to what you achieved last night.
Yeah, of course it's a nice award because it's a team effort. If you're successful and if individual players shine, and all our players and all the women's players deserve to be on that list for their contribution to the success. But if individuals players shine, this is always due to a team effort, and that's why it's a nice award. We have a strong academy, we have a strong women's team, and we want to be a strong part of this club. So full credit to the owner and everybody in charge, and we are trying our best to be to continue and maybe win this award again.
Thomas, just looking forward to tomorrow night. For many clubs now, it almost these midweek games mark the start of a very, very hectic schedule. For some, it's 7 games, 28 days. Don't need to be a genius. It's one game every 4 days. Yeah. How do you manage such a period like this, and how does rotation work now? How do you work looking at the next month or so?
Yeah, it will be challenging, but the good thing is it was challenging before. So we don't change our routine. We have very close and tight communication with the medical department and our fitness department, and we try to predict the load. We look into the data where the players are, who is overloaded, who is underloaded, who is chronically overloaded, who is acutely overloaded, underloaded, and from there we see what we need in the next games, and still we do it step by step. I mean, if you look at the schedule too far ahead, you can see that this will be some tough weeks coming. And that's why we focus on the details, and we focus on the next game and maybe on the next 2 games where we can rely on our predictions, because we have fantastic support from everybody. It's on the players now to not only be strong in the games and give everything in the games, but to take recovery very seriously. We have to be in the next weeks very, very good in recovering, very good in sleeping, and and taking the right food and taking the right supplements, that we can recover well from the games, because the games are intense. Our style of play is hopefully intense and needs to be intense to have a certain mentality and identity on the pitch. This is what we want, and we are not scared to rotate. As I said, we have some doubts with Reece, Jorginho and Timo Werner tomorrow. We have late decisions, but we trust the full squad, and there's no secret that you need a full squad to overcome weeks like this.
Last one, Jermaine.
Yeah, last question from me, Thomas. Just looking at, you look at the Ballon d'Or, 14 of the top 30 players nominated were from the Premier League, but manager-wise, you're one of the best now in the Premier League. The number of top-class managers in the Premier League is, I don't think it's ever been so good. You're coming up against another legendary figure tomorrow night, Claudio Ranieri. Just wondering what you know of Ranieri and kind of what you expect of how he'll set up the side. I know he's only had a short time at Watford, but maybe what you're expecting from Ranieri.
We see a difference. We see a difference in datas, in the style of the game since he joined the club. They play with more confidence. They especially at home, they try to implement also high pressing. They are very active. They try to be brave and courageous. Had a great result against Man United. They try to play more emotional with more effort, to have the crowd behind them. They can create an atmosphere that helps them, and we see this. Claudio Ranieri speaks for himself, what he did in Premier League, and he had so many clubs. So such an experienced coach. It's a pleasure to meet him. I did not. It's my first time I meet him in person, and of course play against him. And we will do our best to be able to get the 3 points tomorrow. This is the aim.
Declan McCarthy, Talk Sport.
Good afternoon, Thomas. I suppose I can say congratulations with all the names you had on the list last night from the Ballon d'Or. I just wanted to ask, there are various ages, various standards in the squad, whether they're young players, old players. How much of a motivation is it for you and the squad, the Ballon d'Or as a whole?
For me personally, not so much, because I have huge doubts about individual awards in this game, because the game is very complex. It's related to a lot of luck, and it's a team effort. You can not one single player can win a match of football. It's simply not possible, and that's why I'm happy when I have the chance to work in a club where we have so many nominees, where we have such a strong academy, a strong women's team. It shows the ambition of the club, it shows the target, and this is what drives us, this is what makes us happy and what motivates us. We don't do what we do to have in the end an individual award, but when you have a lot of nominees and when you get a prize like this yesterday, it is the proof that we showed that the club is what the club is all about and how the club is built, and it's on us, on me, and everybody who works in this club to drive things forward. Point.
And of course, football's all about opinions, Thomas. Were you expecting Robert Lewandowski to come out as the number one last night?
Oh, I take my right to not have an opinion on this one. We had ourselves a player who won all major trophies and was hugely involved, so it would have not been a surprise if he lifted the trophy. But listen, it was a choice, and I think it's election, and when it's elected you have to take it, and if you like it or not, you accept it, and life goes on pretty easy after yesterday evening.
George Cummins, 5 Live.
Thanks, Adrian. Thomas, hello. I mean, I know you might not comment on Jorginho not winning it, but surely his Chelsea teammates are surprised. I mean, what more did he have to do? He won the Euros, the Champions League. Were the Chelsea players surprised he didn't have that trophy in his hands this morning?
My players were surprised that Lewandowski didn't win last year, so there are some surprises in it. But like I said, it's a selection and it's an election, and in the end, we come from sports. We accept and go on.
Can I just ask you about the Club World Cup in February? I mean, how much is that going to impact your season? Where it is? What do you make of it? How strong are you going to go? Because I also know you've got possibly Ziyech and Mendy out too. I just wondered if you've got any thoughts on that being played in February and the impact that can have in your title challenge.
Yeah, but as I understand it, they will both be back. Even if they play the final, they will both be in Abu Dhabi, I guess, or wherever it's going to be played. But listen, this is in February. We are now like close to be in December. There's still December and January to play. So I can tell you, I don't break my head at all about World Cup. This is 0% in my head. My focus is on Watford, in the selection, in the rotation. My head is also like what we did against Man United in the preparation for this game. And of course we look a bit up front, because now we have an evening game, and on Saturday again we have away game, but 12:30. So we need to be aware of the time, of the lack of time of recovery that we have in between. And this is what we do, but there are zero focus on World Cup right now.
Olivia, ELP.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
I just want to ask you a quick question on your left wing back options, with Ben Chilwell out until the new year, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Marcus Alonso hasn't played very much, as you said, after the game against Man United. Do you think you have enough cover in your squad currently to sort of fill that Ben Chilwell gap?
Yeah. Yes, we have. First of all, we have Marcos, who started the season for us when Chile was in a bit of trouble, and then in a bit of a more difficult moment for him. So we trust him. We won Premier League games. Marcos is very experienced, and I think it's even a situation when nobody is injured, where you have like two specialists for one position. Both of them play for their international teams, where you can end up sometimes in very difficult decisions, and it can be very, very hard for one of them, because they are, in my opinion, they compete for one single position. It's the left wing back position, and suddenly if one has a longer injury like Ben now, it can suddenly seem that we don't have enough. If you look at the schedule and think like, oh, does Marcos have now to play, I don't know, eight matches every 3 days? Is that possible? Maybe not. So I think we still have Callum, who can play on the left side as a wing back, and we have some other ideas where we can maybe try, maybe have to try. Let's see. But first of all, Marcos is the one in charge. He's the specialist, and he will prove how much he can bring to the team and what impact he can have for us. And
the one criticism, I think, of the game on Sunday against Man United, and I think the only real criticism this season has been our attacking players being more clinical in front of goal.
Yeah.
Do you think, I'm sure you won't care who puts the ball in the back of the net, whether that's your wing backs, whether that's your defenders, but do you think your attacking players need to contribute a little bit more, or need to be more clinical in front of goal?
I think they try hard. Their contribution to our style of game, the contribution to the high pressing is immense. Can see this in every game live, but we can see it also in the datas after the matches. So we should maybe take in account that when they arrive with the chances, maybe they don't arrive like fully relaxed. Sometimes they breathe hard when they arrive, and maybe that costs us a bit of precision sometimes. But we scored many goals before. In this game, I agree, we had a bit of similar game in terms of chances and of course result against Burnley at home. So yeah, it's also a good sign when we are not happy, when we draw against Man United, when we have the feeling and the deserved feeling that we should deserve more, and we trust them. They have the quality to score for us. It's on us to bring them in positions from where it's possible for them to score, and to do this as often as possible, and maybe more often if it's a moment where they find it a bit harder. But we need to create chances, because they have the quality, and I know that they absolutely want. And still, like I said, they have a huge impact into our defensive game and the high pressing, and that's why in general we are absolutely happy and calm.
Okay, that's the end of the broadcast section. If you would like